Good morning, everyone. I want to tell you about this fascinating week that we have. Yesterday was Palm Sunday. I don't know if any of you went to church or you saw it online or whatever, but Palm Sunday is where Jesus rode in and was riding into Jerusalem. And people loved him. He did many miracles. And they had palms, and what they did is they waved and they said, "Hosanna, Hosanna," and they threw them on the ground so that he could go through. But then, after that, and I've told some of you this story before, that people loved him that day. They loved him. They told him about miracles and they did all these things. They loved him on that day. But as Holy Week, Monday, today's Monday, as time went on, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, things started to get a little hostile, and people started to say, "Who is this King of the Jews? Who is this?" And on Thursday, it started to get really, really bad, where people were saying, "We don't know who this King of the Jews is. We don't want Jesus in our lives." Now remember, just yesterday, on Palm Sunday, they loved him. He was the greatest thing ever. And now as days went on, they're getting angrier and angrier because they don't know who this man is, Jesus. So on Thursday, we're on Thursday today, and Jesus knew his time was short when he was going to have to go to the cross. So on Thursday, he was with his disciples. So he had a big dinner, and it was called the Last Supper. And Jesus sat at the head of the table, and all of his 12 disciples sat all around. And Jesus, as they fed and they had communion and they had, they were talking and whatever, and Jesus stopped and said, "There's one man at this table that is going to come against me and sell me out to bad people." Everyone looked at him and said, "It couldn't be me. Jesus, is it me? Is it me? I don't know, is it me?" And then all of a sudden, the one person who knew, and his name was Judas, he was going to sell Jesus out for 30 pieces of silver that he was going to get in this bag. Now, as they went on to the night, Jesus knew that his time was coming short, so he said to all of them, "I must go and pray." So he went to the hill, and he went to pray. He asked his disciples, "Could you please just pray with me for 1 hour? Just 1 hour, that's all I need of you." So Jesus went, and he prayed so hard. He said, "God, please, I don't want to go to the cross, but I know that I have to." He prayed so hard that he sweat blood. You know when you sweat? We never sweat blood, but I have to tell you, he did. That's how hard he prayed. When he got up from the prayer, he went, and all of his disciples were asleep, and he was so mad at them. He said, "Could you not have just prayed with me for 1 hour?" And they said, "Oh God, Jesus, we're so tired." And when they all got up and they were like, whatever, there was a sound, and the sound was like it was Roman soldiers, bad people. They were coming, and Jesus knew they were coming. So they came up and they are, "Who's the King of the Jews? I want to know who the King of the Jews were." And the disciples went all around him. And Peter, Peter, the rock that we talked about, Peter, he took a sword when they tried to get him, and he cut one of the soldiers' ears off, cut it off. And Jesus said, no, we're not going to do this. So he picked the ear up and he put it back, and he said, "That's not how we're going to fight this." So Peter stood there, and Judas went, and he kissed Jesus on the cheek, because that was the sign that was Jesus. And as he kissed Jesus on the cheek, they went around and they gave him the 30 pieces of silver, and Judas cried and said, "I shouldn't have done this, but he did, and it was too late. So the Roman soldiers took Jesus and they shook him and they did all these things. So that was Thursday night, and Friday, Good Friday, when they woke up. Good Friday was a sad, sad day. It was a dark day for many people. Jesus was made to take a cross, and it was a huge, huge cross. And they kept saying, "Kill Jesus, the King of the Jews." And Pilate, he was like the president. He went and he said, "Why do you want to kill him?" And they're like, "Kill Jesus, kill Jesus." Now remember, just a few days ago, they were saying, "Hosanna, Hosanna, we love you, Jesus, so much." And now they're saying, "Kill Jesus, kill Jesus." And Pilate just shook his hands, he washed his hands, and he said, "I don't want to have anything to do with this." The Roman soldiers were so mean, they took Jesus and they drug him. And before they drug him, they made him go up this big hill, and it's called Golgotha. And it was long, and they beat him. They whipped him. They put things in his side. They took swords. And they were like, ha, 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 Jesus, if you're really the king of the Jews, come down and get out of this mess. And Jesus knew that his time was that he had to die on that cross. So they did something very mean to him. They put this crown of thorns on him and said, oh, if you're the king of the Jew, here's a crown. And they put it on his head. Could you imagine putting this on your head? It hurts me to even touch this. And they put it on his head, and they put it so hard that blood was coming down. These bad people, they hated Jesus. And they didn't want him to live at all. They knew, we have to kill him so that he's gone out of our lives. So as Good Friday came, and he went, and they got the cross, and they were on the hill, and all of a sudden, they put him on the cross, and they put these nails in his hands and between his feet. And he hung there like this, and think he had the crown. Jesus did nothing wrong. He had a man on that side and a man on the other side. They were thieves. They were bad people, and they were on a cross, and Jesus looked on both sides and said, you're forgiven. You'll be in heaven with me. And as Jesus looked up to the side, he said, God, if this cup would be passed from me, that means this death would be passed from me, please. But he knew that he couldn't. The sky got black. Everybody was running. Thunder was going. And all of a sudden, Jesus said, I'm thirsty. And they gave him a sword with a sponge on it that had horrible vinegar. And when he went in, he spit it out. And Jesus went limp, and one of the soldiers took a sword and put it on his side. And at that point, Jesus knew that his time had come. So he had died at that time, and Mary and Martha and one of his brothers, John, he looked at them before he died and said, my time has come. Now after that, the sky, I said, got back, and rain came and thunder. Everyone knew. They were scared. It was a bad thunderstorm. And they took Jesus from the cross, and they took him to a tomb. And then in the tomb, it was very dark, and there was a big stone in front of the tomb, and they put it there. Well, the next day was Saturday. And on Saturday, they grieved. All of the disciples and everyone that knew Jesus, they were grieving. They were like, what are we going to do? Where are we? Whatever. And they just don't know. And then Saturday was very, very sad. But on the third day, Sunday, which is Easter, which is coming up, on the third day, when Mary and Martha went to the tomb because they wanted to dress Jesus and they wanted to make sure he was all right, they went to the tomb, and the tomb was opened. It was open. And Mary and Martha, who stole Jesus? Who stole Jesus out of there? And there was a man that looked as an angel and said, he's not in there any longer. And they were crying, and they were whatever, and they didn't recognize Jesus, but it was Jesus that was standing there. And he said, go back and tell all my disciples and everyone that's in that house that I'm alive, that I'm alive. I'm going to tell you something. On the third day, Jesus rose. And you know why he did? You know why he had to go on the cross? It's so that you and I can say, dear Jesus, forgive our sins so that we can go to heaven with him. God sent his only son, Jesus, to die on that cross, an ugly death, horrible, mean people, whatever. But on the third day, Jesus arose. And when he arose, he said, I have come to save the world. So boys and girls, just think about this. When you do something wrong, when you say something bad, and when you hurt somebody, all you have to say is, Jesus, forgive me. And that's because of the cross. That's why you can say, Jesus, forgive me, because he went to the cross. He's no longer on that cross anymore. He's not there. He's in heaven. He is in heaven, looking down on us, protecting us. So this week, think about every single day. Yesterday was Palm Sunday. We're coming to Thursday. That was the Last Supper. Friday was Good Friday, which was a horrible day. And then Sunday was the third day, and he arose. I just want you to know that on the third day, Jesus arose. God bless all of you. I miss all of you so much. Have a wonderful Easter.